I really didn't expect to be shooting a video today because actually I didn't think much was going to happen. Well, no big thing happened, but a whole lot of little things have added up today, and none of them actually bad. None of them really, nobody new, as far as I've found so far, announced that they are leaving. And Milum, Rimac, and Trotter all specifically said they are staying. So we have those three plus Green who have publicly said we're coming back. That is in itself a pretty good nucleus, and you figure we're going to keep at least some of the others. I'm still not sure who's leaving, a bit surprised, but along with that, there was a bit of a press conference today via Zoom, since Coach Brown is out in Vegas for the award ceremony. That one of the things Zach Frazier is up for after getting passed over as a finalist for the Remington. And Coach Brown did say that he is upset by that, considers Zach Frazier to be the best center in the country. Quite frankly, I'm not sure I agree about the best, but then again, I haven't watched everybody else, and I am not really qualified to judge them against one another. Anyway, let's say that Coach Brown may be just a tad biased on that subject. But Zach Frazier certainly deserves recognition. He did say Frazier's surgery went well. He's recovering well, so that's good news. Preston Fox, we still haven't been told even what part of the body the injury is on, but whether or not he plays in the ball game is a game week decision. Not necessarily game day, but at least game week. Needs some time, but at least there is the possibility. The chatter was a fractured breastbone, which could be looking at 10 weeks, and that would put him significantly past the bowl game. So it would be good to see him in the bowl game. I do think we can win without him. I don't think there's actually anybody on the team we can't win without. Doesn't mean I'm not glad to have them. Now, Brown also talked about the portal in a couple of different ways. He did mention that he expects to see some things happen after the bowl game. Maybe some before, he didn't say, but that, things happening after the bowl game. He did not specify whether he was talking about signings or leavings. And I assume it's a bit of both. And once he mentioned it, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Some of these guys would want to play in the bowl game. If they announce they're entering the portal, no bowl game for them, no trip to Charlotte, no chance to show off once more. The flip side of that, of course, is entering late. A lot of teams have already made choices, so you may not have the spots that you would have had earlier. So it's a bit of a toss-up. We'll see what happens. He also talked about a little more, some specifics about the plan for portal transfers in general. A couple of things I found of real interest. One was, reason they are looking for wide receiver is to have one more experienced, player, go-to guy, and yeah, that makes sense. I mean, he's not necessarily looking for a one-year guy. He does, overall like to have the additional years, but it's a talented room but it is a young room. Preston Fox is the old man in the room once the bowl game is over and Carter is gone. Though Carter hasn't seemed to be entirely there most of the season, so whoever we bring in, we got to get a little bit better on that one. Better on the portal overall last year, but it's always going to be hit, miss, singles, doubles, triples, and home runs. But getting an experienced wide receiver, both just for the value on the field, but also, of course, value in practice, and just having a good, experienced voice in the room, and maybe bringing in a little bit different perspective. Also specified they need bodies, especially bodies at linebacker. It's one of the problems with special teams is being thin at linebacker means you don't have the mid-sized bodies. Those guys who weigh 230, 240 and can run. There's a limit to how many linemen you're going to use on any of the special teams. And I mean, you want gunners on the kickoff coverage, punt coverage, but you want those guys who can get down there fast, either make the tackle or, basically, take the blocks, blow things up. And it's hard for an 180, 190 pound receiver to do that. They may get there fast and they're good at the tackle, but not necessarily knocking guys out of the way so the next man can make the tackle. So, bodies at linebacker. And of course, yes, they want to get, talent. And of course, secondary is the number one position that they're trying to hit. And you can tell that by the offers. More offers went out, more of them defensive backs. They did offer, I think, one or two more wide receivers and a tight end, which is a little bit odd. Got to figure they've got their reasons, but if nobody asks, Brown usually isn't going to tell. He's very open when asked, but he does not necessarily start the conversation. And looking for an edge rusher. Also, a detail, they split, I don't know if they've always done this or if it's more this year, but they split the portal recruits into two categories. One more for immediate need, one looking long term. And of course, that's the guys who have 2 or 3 or even 4 years left to play. But those guys, they look at the same as being a high school recruit. So when they are kind of breaking things down in terms of how many high school recruits they're looking to take in a year, that does include multi-year portal recruits. I'd kind of think they probably cut it off around the 3 and 4 year mark, but maybe, where they count a guy with 2 years, don't know. Guy with 1 year, he is now and counts differently. So, not surprising, because Coach Brown does do things in a very precise, detail-oriented way, and he keeps improving methods. And of course, keep in mind, this whole portal deal has not been around very long. So nobody has a solid method for doing it. Learning, everybody is learning on the go. So adjustments, teams who did well 2 years ago didn't necessarily do well last year. This idea that certain coaches have the whole thing nailed down to a science, no, it's still flexible all over the place. So I don't know when we will see any sort of commitments. Right now, they're picking guys that they're trying to set visits, either in-home visits, on-campus visits, whatever they can get. Everybody's in a hurry. Trying to get as many visits in as fast as possible, make decisions. Especially since some of these guys want to enter in January, which is good for the team, good for the player, but it means you've got to get your act together in something of a hurry. So, things happening. I like what's happening. You know I usually do. I happen to think Coach Brown and his crew are good at what they do. I like it when we get some extra insight on not only what they're doing, but why. But right now, they've got a plan. They've got a pretty precise plan, probably a plan B and a plan C. And we are getting guys who are saying publicly that they are staying. I hope that, having these guys go public with it will make some more guys come, because you do keep getting, oh man, the chatter, the gossip, what did they mean by that emoji? What's happening? And usually nothing. So that's why I'm not reporting on all of the little, bits and pieces that happen that people try to make a big deal out of or wonder if it's a big deal. And of course, most of the guys we're offering, a lot of them won't even make a visit. Only a handful, almost literally, less than 2 handfuls, will end up being signed and joining the team. So I'm not going to worry about the dozens who don't. Okay, that's tonight's update. I think I covered pretty much everything that came out today here in one spot. Interesting Tuesday. So I will see you when something happens. Maybe even on Wednesday. In the meantime, have happy football dreams, and I'll see you later. By the way, subscribe, make comments, support the site any way you can, tell your friends, share, do all those kind of good things. We are moving towards 1,000 subscribers. Need to move more. Thanks to you guys who have subscribed, commented, and been with me for a while. I do appreciate it. Those of you who've been with me for a while but don't comment, please do, because I don't know you're there. All right. Now, so long.